What's up guys, it's Freefly over here, and today we will discuss about the minor chord, about how to create a basic chord progression and some useful tips for giving certain emotions to the listener. In the previous video from the music theory series, we discussed about cadence chords and seen how the 4 and the 5 chords can make a smooth transition back to the 1. We also seen that these 3 chords are the most common ones when it comes to popular music made in a major scale, and that we can even form chord progressions only using these 3 chords. But the problem is that they are all major chords, and limiting yourself only to them will mean a smaller range of emotions that you can evoke through your song. Major chords are bright and happy, but you don't always want everything to sound like that. You also need some tension and drama. Before we continue, make sure to press that like button and subscribe for more music theory tutorials and other useful things for musicians and producers. So in order to spice things up a bit, you can also add a minor chord, like the 6th chord. We learned that major chords are written with an uppercase Roman numeral, so since this is a minor one, it is written with a lowercase Roman numeral. Sure, you can use other minor chords in the scale as well, such as the 2 and the 3, but the 6 is a more common one. It works well in many scenarios and it fits really well together with the 1, the 4 and the 5. Thus, the most popular chord progression of all times is formed right with these 4 chords. You probably recognize that these songs also appear in the popular video called 4 Chords by the Axis of Awesome. All of the songs you heard are not originally in the same key, so their actual chords are different. But thanks to the relative notation, we can compare them and see that they all have the same progression. But this doesn't mean that you can make just this one progression with these 4 chords, because there are more possibilities and combinations that work. I presented them all in my video called The Top 12 Most Popular Chord Progressions, so make sure to check that out as well at the link below. Besides this, you don't need to use the exact same progression throughout the entire song, as things will get boring. It is quite common to have a progression in the verses, another one in the bridge and a different one in the chorus. Another technique is to omit a chord of these 4 on purpose in one section of the song. For example, you can omit the 6 in the verse to give the feeling that something is missing. Then, when the minor chord appears, the impact it will have will be even bigger and will give the listener a more satisfying feeling. Here is a very relevant example. This was the song Push by Matchbox 20, and damn, I got goosebumps when the minor chord hit in. Another technique would be to use the plagal cadence, the 4 leading to a 1, which is less satisfying. Then you can surprise the listener by giving them the 5 to 1, which is more powerful. Another technique is to not use the one chord for a long section of the song, making the listener feel far away from home. But then, when the new section comes and they hear the one chord, the stable feeling associated with this chord will be well magnified. Here is an example, the popular song of Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On. So even though all the chord progressions were already used, you can still create some nice and interesting ones and give certain feelings to the listeners. Now let's take a practical example into a music making software, and in this case I'm using Ableton Live. Step number 1. Choose the key you will be composing in. Let's look at the most popular used ones, which are found in the circle of fifths, and choose a random major scale. Let's say the E major. Step number 2. Choose or create a chord progression. You can experiment and create your own, but when you are just starting, you can simply choose a commonly used chord progression. Let's look at my video, the top 12 most popular chord progressions, and choose a random one, for example the 1, 6, 4, 5. Step number 3. Draw or play the chords in your software. If you are a piano player, you already know how to play these chords and record them, but in case you are not, don't worry, you can just draw them in your software. Open a website showing the chords in the E major scale and take them one by one. So, the one chord in the E major scale is E major, which is formed with the notes E, G sharp and B. Let's draw them. The sixth chord in the E major scale is C sharp minor, which is formed with the notes C sharp, E and G sharp. Let's draw this as well. The next one in the progression, the fourth chord, is the A major, made with the notes A, C sharp and E. Let's put this in Ableton. And last but not least, the final chord in our progression is the 5, which is the B major chord, formed with the notes B, D sharp and F sharp. Let's draw it as well and see how our progression sounds. To make the sound even better, we will transpose some of the notes up or down. Don't worry, we will discuss about this later on. Now that you have your progression ready, you can use it in so many ways. You can have these chords on a piano, then you can add a pad, then some strings, and then an harp, all playing the same notes. This will be the foundation of your song, and together they sound like this. The next step would be to create a melody, but we'll discuss about this in a future video. So I hope that this information was useful. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more. See you soon!